What is happening? Man, I am excited to continue down uh, the solo episode journey here with you guys. But continuing really the fundamentals when it comes to leadership and coaching and really kind of unpacking the whole coach code framework that we've been able to run through as we're kind of unpacking the whole methodology and framework around the coach code experience, if you will. And really where that comes from is just a belief that I have, right? That there's a code in a sequence that it can unlock anything in our life. And we just need the combination to be able to unlock that. And that's really what we've been diving in and covering a lot of. And really what I'm excited to jump in and unpack today really revolves around what we call straight line coaching. And straight line coaching is about getting people out of their kind of this circular world and moving them into a straight line, moving them essentially from point A, from where they're at, to point B of where they want to go. So when we see people not moving in a known direction, they're moving in that cycle, kind of a circular type of world. And if you look and understand, if we live in a circular world, we're driving ourselves down. Okay. So that's where we want to step back and flatten out the circle so that we can get our whoever we're leading or coaching to get them to move as fast as they can from where they're at to where they want to go. And, at this point is where we really want to start then talking about the hero's journey, because as part of that process, you cannot be the hero to get them from A to B. And the quicker you can learn this, the years of frustration that you're going to save yourself in knowing that, listen, you're not the hero here. They are. You're just the guide in their story. And you're the guide that's going to get them from where they're at to where they want to go, from point A to point B. And listen, you cannot do it for them. They have to do it for themselves. And that's really where we become the guide in the process, which we'll talk a bit about that in a little bit. So straight line coaching, right? And I just love that concept because this is where you're at. This is where I want to go. And my job is to get you there as fast as possible. And so in that straight line coaching, what it ultimately comes down to leadership. And leadership is just a determining factor that will make or break the future of any enterprise. It will also make or break the future of anybody's life. So are we operating in that victim mentality that leaves us in this circular world, or are we taking ownership and commitment for moving where we're at to where we want to go? A victim mentality will keep us trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, making it extremely difficult to break free and to ultimately achieve our goals. Now, on the other hand, taking ownership of our lives and committing to personal growth can help us move forward and create the life we want. So I'm going to unpack three things with you guys. And the first one is straight line people. We have a straight line process, A to B, but straight line people. When we look at what it really means to move in a straight line, it's ultimately that simple. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but we want to keep it as simple as possible. One of the worst things that we all seem to do to ourselves is just make things way too complex. We have to strive to keep it simple. It's a matter of going from A to B. A is our current reality, and B is where we want to go. Okay? A is our current reality, where we're at right now. B is the chosen destination. And that destination can be anywhere. This is where we have to understand our relationship as a coach as a leader is that destination isn't our destination. It's the individual that we're trying to help create awareness and discover where they truly want to go. Our job is to help them, to be the guide to get them from where they're at to where they want to be. It can be a short destination or it can be a long destination. And there can be multiple steps along the way, but that's up to them. We create the awareness and develop commitment because it takes commitment to get where you want to go. And what it takes is uncovering. Who do I need to be? Who do I need to become? And then what do I need to do no matter what it takes? What are the necessary required actions that I have to take to get me from where I am to where I want to go? These questions are extremely effective at solving all of the issues that we encounter along the way in our life and in our business. Our job as a coach, as a leader, is to assist and lead them to their own conclusions and help them become who they must become to solve those issues and those challenges along the way. We want to make sure that we're trying not to allow them to overcomplicate it. Okay. It makes it even more difficult when we try to overcomplicate it, to not allow them to overcomplicate it. We want to make sure that they're keeping it as simple as possible, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Common sense is keeping it simple. Okay. We don't want them to overthink it, and we don't want to make it too complicated, right? Those complexities are what cause friction. We want to keep it simple, and that's the power. That's the strength. Being able to keep things simple, right? You got a 5-step process. How can you make it 3? Simplify. The struggle, the challenge is too many people live in their circular world. And it's essentially Groundhog Day over and over, not their perfect day, not a typical Tuesday. It's a vicious cycle that they're stuck in. They're stuck in their head. They're stuck in their mind. That's where they're stuck. So what we have to help them uncover, because it's our job to help them lead them to their own conclusion. And what we want to help them uncover is that it's not an improvement. What's needed is to understand that they're in the circle. We have to help them open that circle and lay it out in a flat line. We've got to be able to help them see, this is where I'm at, and this is where I want to go, and what are the right things in the right order that will get me there. So why do we always start with the vision? It's a great question. It's where I always default to. What's the goal? What's the vision? What's the destination? Where are we going? We always start with the end in mind. Where do we want to go? We have to start there. Then we trace our path back to where we're at in the present moment, okay? To where we're at in our current reality. When we do that, our future is then created in the present. That's why we have to start with the bigger future and then reverse back down to where we're at. That helps our present become better because now we're focused on where we want to go. We're focused on a bigger and better future. For our present to be better, our future has to be bigger. But this is also an important lesson for us. Where do we want to be? Where do we want to go? What's our big future? Then what we also have to remember is that we just can't want it. Wanting robs us of the energy that's going to allow us to ever get it. You're better off if you know you're not going to take action, you are better off not having that as the goal. And the reason I'm so adamant about this being a straight line human is because when the world is burning down around you, if you're in a circular space, it is going to eventually get you. But when we open it up and we're moving in a known direction, those flames could be massive. And it's still not going to derail us from the action we're taking to move to the destination we want to be. Okay? So we have that straight line individual, but what is the formula? Give me the goods, coach. What's the formula for achieving the desired outcome? So remember, the first thing that we said is, who do we have to become? Who do we have to become and understand how we are as coaches and leaders? We have to lead the way here first. Then we install this mindset, this belief into others that we have to function with what is called wisdom and power, because it takes both. See, wisdom is being aware of how we are operating at the moment. Are we operating with accountability, owning our choices and actions, right? Being accountable, not victims. Or are we operating in that victim mentality, right? Feeling powerless and at the mercy of our circumstances. We have to have that awareness. When we operate from a place of wisdom, we tend to be more accountable for our actions and more open to new possibilities. We also become less attached to the outcomes of our choices, knowing that whatever happens, we will always have the opportunity to learn and grow from it. Power is the willingness to shift. Once we have that awareness, the wisdom, power is a choice. That's why it's so important for us to uncover and understand without being problem aware. We don't even know what we need to make a change. We don't even know that it's an issue, right? All a fish knows is water. We don't even know that we need to make those changes. And so the best way for us to be able to have that awareness and understanding at the moment is through clear distinctions. Distinctions give us the awareness we need so that choices can be made. Once we see something, then we have the choice to shift where we're wanting to focus. How are we going to own it? How are we going to show up? That is so important. Wisdom is knowledge, power is choice. Once we have awareness, we have the choice to do whatever with it we want. When we look and talk about the circular world that most people live in, most of them believe they need more information. They think that if they could just get their hands on better intel, they would be able to make sense of it all. However, this way of thinking only keeps them trapped in a never-ending cycle. It's like chasing a rainbow. No matter how much information they obtain, they will never find what they're looking for. There's an old saying that goes, there's a difference between knowing the way and walking the way. It's one thing to know what to do, but it's another thing entirely to actually do it. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you're going to actually do it. That's the powerful difference between knowing what to do and implementing what you know. Knowing is easy. Doing is hard. And that's where people fail. We stay in this circular world because we have the illusion that we're missing information to allow us to get out of the circular world and move forward. It's not information. It's not information we're missing. It's the transformation. It's the transformation in who we have to become in order to live a life that is powerful, that moves us from where we are to where we want to go. And then it's always about finding the shortest distance between where we're at to where we want to go. How can we go faster? Do we have to go that way, or can we go this way? One of my favorite exercises. One of my favorite exercises is give an individual a maze, right? And you have the arrow that shows the entry. You have the arrow that shows the exit. How do I get from here, point A to point B, the fastest? It is one of the most effective tools that we can utilize. And it also is going to give something to our clients to see this. Because when you understand that we live in a creative world, not the reported circular world, that's a distinction. So the maze, see, we've been taught that we must enter the maze and find our way through and come out of the exit. I don't want to say that's sheep mentality, but that's sheep mentality. Because the instructions are to get from where you're at to where you want to go the fastest. And I don't know about you, but me trying to figure my way out through a maze is not the fastest path from point A to point B. I might have to go around the maze. I might have to go over the maze. I might have to go under the maze. I might have to walk right through the maze. But that's the power of having the distinction that our job is to get from where we're at to where we want to go. And as a coach and a leader, our job is to help another human to get from where they're at to where they want to go. Okay? And when you look at those distinctions, right? Distinctions are indications of a clear understanding of a new choice available to us. They're black and white. They're binary. They're opposites. They're like life and death, night and day, profit and loss. We should always be looking for distinctions between where we're at and where we want to go. Straight line leaders and straight line coaching is all about taking massive action. It's about progress and understanding that progress equals happiness. If you want to be happier, you have to make progress. You just have to move and take action, right? Forward is a pace. Everything in life is uphill. And the only way you get up that hill is with intent and focus and with progress and with one step at a time. That's how we move away from a circular existence into a person that's moving from one point to the other. We have to understand that the fastest way to do that is operating from a position of who we have to become in a powerful way. Powerful way. And that takes us living a life of accountability and also taking the desired, necessary, required actions until our destination is achieved. It's not just taking action. It's not just taking massive action. It's taking the required, desired, necessary actions until the destination is achieved. People that move in a straight line use those distinctions to keep a high level of awareness. Remember, without awareness, we don't have a choice. So keep a high level of awareness and perform at our absolute best. One thing to always consider is if we understand or live it, because knowing without diluting is also doing nothing. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean anything if you don't take action on it or live it. For people that are moving in an unknown direction, we create and utilize the tools we have within us in the tools around us. We act decisively without fear because we know that results come out of decisive action. From experience, getting from one point to the other is always about doing the next required action. Regardless if you don't want to do it, you still do it, right? That's discipline. And that's the big thing. Just because you're doing things doesn't mean anything. If it's not the required action to progress forward, then it doesn't matter. The universe rewards those that take action. It's always about what's required to get the results we intend. By not getting the results or just being busy or just doing stuff, we stay stuck in a circular world. We have to be doing the required actions that allow us to progress forward closer to our destination. And so, courage. Courage supersedes confidence, right? Because confidence is just a collection of our wins. Courage supersedes confidence because you can't have confidence without decisive action. One of my favorite tools to put in your tool belt is Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, right? We all get paralyzed, guys, but we have to have tools. And the 5-second rule is, I haven't found a better tool. If you guys aren't familiar, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move your body, take action. That's the 5-second rule. So next time you catch yourself in a situation where you're just paralyzed, you're stuck, start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. We have to move ahead because we know what it takes and what is required and what must be done. We as powerful humans, powerful coaches, powerful leaders simply decide what we're going to accomplish. Understand what the necessary required actions are, then do the necessary required actions. Am I being productive or am I just going through the motions? Am I getting the results or am I just going through the motions? As powerful coaches and as powerful humans moving in that known direction, we use words and actions that are most effective for us to move faster. We don't use disempowering language. We don't sabotage. We don't contaminate what's going to slow us down in our mind and then slow us down in our actions, right? We talked about the results framework. We go from environment and circumstance into thoughts, beliefs, into feelings, into habits and actions that become our habits that give us the results. Okay. It comes down to a deep understanding of what it is to make a commitment. I do not believe in commit and figure it out. I just don't. I've never done anything that I've committed and then just tried to figure it out. Instead, when you know where you want to go, you get to reverse engineer what it's going to take to get there. And then understand if that is something you're willing to commit to. That's commitment, right? Coach, I want to close 100 transactions. Great. Let's reverse engineer. How many closings do you need? How many clients do you need? How many appointments do you need? How many conversations do you need? How many opportunities do you need? It's just math. It's all business is. A lot of life is just math. But then and only then, when you look at how many opportunities, how much effort, then and only then, you get to ask yourself, is that something I'm willing to commit to? That's a commitment. The only way you can truly commit is knowing who you have to become with a clear line in the sand, in which we know what we will do and what we won't do, regardless of what happens or what doesn't happen, because we know where we want to go. We are going to hit rough water, right? You're going to go through the chop. You're going to go through what we call white water. You're going to go through turbulence. We're going to fight struggle, and it's because we're fighting resistance along the way. But it doesn't matter if we're committed. Like, we take those challenges and we take that chop head on because we're committed. And so that brings me to the final point. And that point is wanting versus creating. We've talked a little bit about wanting. And if we just live a life of wanting, we're going to want more, which just depletes our energy. It's fine for us to have wants and dreams as long as we're willing to wake up and make them happen. If we're not willing to wake up and make them happen, it's going to lead us to a life that we don't want to live. So stop thinking about it. Stop putting it out in the forefront. Stop making it a dream. What are the things that you're willing to wake up and fight for? As I said, it's going to deplete us of energy, and it's just going to upset us. And it'll continue to make us feel worse and worse. And remember, it's not about just setting the target. This is what I want. It's always about doing the necessary required actions. In fact, I want you to write that down. It's not about taking action. It's about taking the necessary required action. And the only way you know what is necessary and what is required is you got to reverse engineer. You got to start with the end in mind. What does it take for me to make point B in my success inevitable? It's inevitability thinking. Creating the conditions so success becomes inevitable. Because us going through the motions is not good enough. That's not going to get us the results we're after. It's doing the actions that are required to get the results we want. Transformation happens when we do the required actions and stop caring about anything else. We care about the desired reactions and we don't care about anything else. When we stop giving a you-know-what about what other people think, it's then possible for us to truly focus on getting the result and stop being controlled by the judgments of others. We stop saying what we think people will want to hear, and we just say what we will truly make a difference. Simple, not easy. But the only thing that I know to achieve anything in our lives that is hard, I mean, anything worth achieving is hard. And that's operating with intent and being honest about where you want to go, why you want to go there. And it's something you want to do. And back to the truth of where we're at. Remember, all progress begins with telling the truth. And that's where you have to start. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time. And the simpler we can make it and operate between point A and point B, because in the middle is the magic. That's the strategy. That's the plan. And that stuff comes together pretty easy. The hard part is being honest with where you're at and being even more honest with where you want to go. Hope this is helpful. Some amazing tools to put into your tool belt. And again, guys, it's about taking massive action. It's about putting these things into play. And the world rewards those of us that take action. So get after it. Take that necessary, required action and don't stop until you get there. Okay? Don't stop till you get there. By all means, just make it happen.